We're kicking off with the second round, table. Sorry, with the second round table. So don't, if you want to take a technical stop, you can do that. But if you're interested in staying for the second round, please do. Ah, bien. ¿Qué tal? ¿Bien? Porque a mí me parece importante. Esta es la mejor competición de esta
Which is the longest river of Spain?
Claro, pero media hora.
Como eran dos, no, me ha gustado la temática y cómo lo has enfocado. Lo único que antes era de media y fan engagement y estos son performance y smart revenue y ha faltado como esa, que se note que...
Muy bien. ¿Están ordenados ya? Sí, ya están ordenados. Sí. Aquí los nombres están bien, ¿no? Vale. Bueno, muy bien. We start with the second round. For those who were not here for the previous round, that I think there are very few. I'm Javier Martinez. I'm an ambassador for José, and I am really honored and grateful to be here in this exciting moment with the finalists for the startup competition of the original, I'm going to say it well, the original inspiration, not innovation, sorry for that. Inspiration, supported by José, supported by Microsoft. So it's been a really interesting process. Now we're going to focus in these 5 finalists. That the main focus is on smart venues and performance. In the previous one, we talked about fan engagement and connectivity and media. So allow me to introduce George. Help me, please.
No, go ahead.
Monevasitis. That sounds like it.
Monevasitis, thank you.
I used to have that.
Greek-Australian.
Monevasitis and hepatitis. Yeah. Volia Pavlovich, that's easier. Here. From Snaticity, George is the leader of Solos, right? We have Ismael Fernandez, that's an easy one. All right. From Thermo Human, Rosa Porcar, IBB, which is Instituto Biomecánica de Valencia, las Valencias. And Jesus Herrero from Jump. So big applause for them, please. We're having some technical problems with the screen, but I think we can move on, right? All right. So let's start this open discussion. The first thing is I would like you to introduce yourselves and your startup, to give us a frame on what you do and what your startup is about, and then we'll start discussing different aspects of the project. Okay?
Okay, so Solos is a startup company in sports, but actually we are a 25-year-old company, and we produce a very uninteresting product, which is a tag, a garment tag. The tag is not only uninteresting, but you're probably wondering how on earth does that relate to fan engagement and smart venues, etc. But certainly we'll get to that. Every human being on the planet, we wear approximately 23 tags a day. And it's how we identify with the brand that we love. And for Solos, we not only produce that tag, but we do it with a twist. So we add brand protection, so the anti-counterfeit elements of tags and the things that are hidden and invisible that you don't know about is Solos. And for 25 years, we've been doing a terrific job of that. And as the business grew, the tags became digital. And as they became digital, it was not too dissimilar, a watered-down version of, for example, what happened with the analog phone becoming digital, and suddenly you could engage with fans in sports, you could receive your email, etc. With this tag being digital, it was certainly a terrific product for inventory management and control, but we also learned that we could continue to use it for brand protection. So what Solos is about, and us being a new startup in sports, is that we are using our history and our experience of the tag to embed it in sports merchandise, to attach it to the football shirt, and it becomes your ticket, your wallet to the venue. You can get discounts at your favorite sponsored events. Even by simply tapping and connecting, you can enjoy credits to esports games, and goodness knows how many more things will be available in the future. And finally, our business is about the Internet of Things. So eventually we're going to be living in a world where you'll be walking down the street, walking past an electronic billboard, and that billboard will connect with you simply by what you're wearing. And we want that connection obviously to occur in sports in a very, very big way. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Please, Volja.
Thank you. Yeah, Vola. Hello everyone. My name is Vola and I'm the co-founder of Snaptivity. It is a smart venue technology powered by fan emotions. Snaptivity deals with such an intangible asset as an experience. And in today's world, you didn't have an experience if you don't have a picture of it. That's why we still take pictures of our lunches, dinners, etc. In a football match, it's a bit more difficult because to take a picture, you need to get distracted from the reason you are there in the first place. What we do at Snaptivity, we developed a technology to make sure that a live event and a football match actually happens to every attendee. So every attendee has a content from that match and about that experience. And to do that, we have smart sensors that measure the emotional level of the crowd and predict it. And based on that knowledge, our robotic cameras start photographing or videographing fans right at the peak of their excitement, when they're actually experiencing something. And as a result, every fan has a feed of several photographs or videographs of their best moments ready to share, tag, and brag.
Cool. Ismael.
Hello everyone, my name is Ismael Fernandez and I'm co-founder of ThermoHuman. I think that I'm the first company that is not related on those sectors that are amazing, but it's different. It's performance and injury prevention. So what we do actually is to use a technology called thermography to prevent and monitor injuries. Basically, it's a technology that allows us, is a camera to measure temperatures. So we take pictures from players, and based on the results, that is basically the same logic as using a thermometer to know if you have fever or not, but we register more than 70,000 pixels. So we manage all those informations in real time to know in which region of the body there could be any risk of injury. So basically we are using a technology that allows us to, just by taking a picture, to know objective data about players. and we prevent injuries. We have been working for the last 10 years. The project started in the university, Technical University here in Madrid. So we have been gathering experience in research, so publishing more than 40 articles and results, but also with institutions, mainly football teams. And what is more interesting, this application is not just for sports, but we are working also with clinics, hospitals, and the application should be obviously go further on than high performance. So we are speaking about the Formula 1, and we are testing with the best, and the idea is to improve the health and performance of teams, but also impacting on the economic of institutions, so saving money and time, and also getting, because of that, more audience and rewardness regarding, for example, LaLiga win the competition.
Thank you. Well, I am Rosa Porcar from Instituto de Biomecánica de Valencia. Amun, Valencia. We are an applied research center in biomechanics. So we transform biomechanics knowledge into something ready to use by industry. Sports industry, but also healthcare industry, automotive industry, and so on. And today, here with, thanks to LaLiga and José, what we are presenting is our last release, which is a 3D very low-cost body scanner. That means that with an app and with only 2 photos that you take with the app, you obtain a 3D model of your body, which is very accurate, with accuracy comparable with high-resolution scanners, and in less than 1 minute. And right now, medical staff from clubs used to measure players with a very traditional system, with a metric tape, and with a specific procedures. That takes more than 1 hour per player. So normally they don't do it more than once or twice a year. But with this system, you can do it whatever you want, whenever you want, and by yourself.
You know, Rosa, I have a funny story because, you know,
Why?
you're doing magic because you are predicting all injuries and all this. But there is one outside of the coin, which is players. Because when the doctors come and they say, you're not playing next Saturday or next Sunday, they're totally mad because I'm fine, I feel fine. And with all these gadgets and systems, you can predict that that player might break next Sunday. So they sit down on the bench and they're totally pissed off. It's really fun. So to me, you're magicians, right?
Well, you know, we are not magicians.
No, but it's fun when you have to discuss with a player that. It's kind of difficult. So thank you, Rosa. Jesus, your turn.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jesus Herrero. I'm one of the founders of Jump. And we founded Jump, 3 co-founders, that we started working in the OTT back like 15 years ago when this all started. And everybody thought we were kind of crazy starting in the OTT space, and people thought that nobody would watch a football game or any entertainment on a mobile or on a tablet. So we started there, and 3 years ago, when the quality and the delivery of the content was already there, and people was watching content pretty much in every device, we thought that all these companies, the big players in the industry, needed the technology to compete against the big guys that are conquering the world, like Netflix or Amazon or Google. So what we did is we took advantage of these technologies that they also use. We built a platform, and we have an engagement and analytics platform to help companies in the entertainment industry make the right decisions based on data, which is what basically Amazon and Netflix and all these people do. They are big data companies and technology companies. So having the technology and having the data, then you can compete, let's say, at the same level. Otherwise, you will be always under in the competition. So this is what we are doing, and we're really happy that LaLiga strategy is becoming an entertainment global company and also paying a lot of attention to the big data. And that's, I think, one of the reasons we are here and ready to help in any of our solutions.
Fully agree with you, Jesus. I think that there are no boundaries now between the sports and the entertainment companies. and the ones who don't, even the entertainment companies are copying and nurturing from the sports industry. So again, for those who's been there, I'm going to repeat myself a bit, but you're a different panel, so your insights is what we're looking for. So we asked the other group, the other 5 finalists, about what would be your big innovation landmark, how you can add value to the industry as a concept more than explaining what you do, because one thing is what you do, another thing is your vision. And in this specific round, we're a little bit more interested in getting your insights, that your vibes, your feeling, your vision on, in all this disruption, innovation world, ecosystem, whatever, that it's hype now that we have to talk about the ecosystem and all these players. What's the added value that you think that all this new trend, this new movement of disrupting innovation you have to give to the industry?
I think in our case, technology is working not only in the favor of the clubs and the organizations, it's working in the favor of the brand that the clubs and organizations are working with, and it's working in favor of the consumer. What do I mean by that? If we consider the future of the marketplace, tags are going digital. Now, we wouldn't be aware of that. Why would we? Probably many of us here were not even aware that our tags in our home have anti-counterfeit brand protection built into them. We're not interested to know that information. But what if we were? What if those tags that were digital provided you with benefits that you ordinarily wouldn't receive? So you're buying a garment, it's just a shirt, but hang on, that shirt could be my ticket and my wallet to the game on the weekend. How is that possible? It's because it's digital. Now, why is this so prevalent in the marketplace right now? Coming from a fashion background, the fashion brands around the world, they've recognized this. They've said, you know what? If we sell a product, why can't we give people the ability to be able to use that as a ticket in a wallet? For example, a luxury brand can use it as a ticket in a wallet to a second row seat in New York Fashion Week, or use it as a ticket and wallet to a VIP event or experience. It's a world first, and Solos is at the forefront of that technology. And what we see as being prevalent here is that we're actually killing 2 birds with 1 stone, if we want to say that. Because by using what is digital, we're also dealing with the problem of brand protection. What do I mean?
You're selling me a startup. The question was different. What's the
I'm
added?
going to get to that.
No. You'll have time to sell your startup. But I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but you will have another session to do that. So what would be the added value as a concept that you're adding? I really agree with all of you.
I probably went too long into the story to get to the end. But
yeah.
Look.
So the butler is the murderer.
Yes,
right?
yes. Look, to summarize, we've got to do something from a community perspective so that we reduce the number of counterfeits in the community. It's that simple for us. Why is that a problem? Because we don't realize that these counterfeit goods that we see on the street corners, here in Madrid, Barcelona, all over Spain, all over the world, are being produced by factories with young children, exploitation of labor. God knows what's going on in the background. And to be honest, we're not going to protect the brand by having a hologram on a hang tag. That's what we're about, and that's the disruption that we want to create with what we're generating.
You nailed it.
A little slow, but
No, you nailed it. You're Greek.
I'll try to be very fast. We live in a digital world where every person has a supercomputer in the pocket, and we are checking it all the time. And that created, it kind of started blurring the lines between a couch in your living room watching the game and an experience of watching the game in stadium. And that becomes a problem because more and more fans say, why would I travel for an hour? Why would I queue? Why would I overpay for a hot dog in stadium if I can get all that comfort and the same watching experience at home? And less and less people of young people of certain age start going to the game. And we think that when it comes to smart venue, the main goal of any smart venue technology is to make sure that the couch experience in your living room and the stadium experience watching the game are completely different things. Stadium has to provide something extraordinary, something that drives people in, and that comes to emotions and experiences of people and what they do, how they feel in stadium, and that's what we think on a large scale we are dealing with.
So we would say that maybe as a summary, the main added value that you're stating is that you're kind of merging the on-off experience into one that are both relevant for us and for the business, right?
Yes, but we don't just if we just.
I'm not talking about
blindly-
specifically about your
Yeah,
experience, about the intention of what you're doing.
I think that the intention is to blur it together, but in a way that doesn't disrupt either of them.
Absolutely.
Because if you just bring digital in offline, it doesn't necessarily make sense, especially in sports.
No, they have to be fully integrated.
Yeah.
They have to be digital.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Thank you. Jesus?
Ismail.
Jesus,
No problem.
No, Jesus is
But
I told you I have Dory, Finding Nemo memory, so that's it.
whatever.
Sorry.
So, asking about added value. Okay, in general, I'm not going to sell you the company, but my perspective is that we have two different approaches. I'm speaking about performance, right, and injury prevention. And I think that the approaches should be performance and business. From performance perspective, one thing that we should take into account is sports science are very young. So even if we are speaking about football for years and years and years, what happens behind that, so the preparation, training, everything has been changing and growing incredibly in the last, I would say, 10 years. So basically what we try to bring is what it's been used in other sectors. So objective information. Obviously not always, but the things happen before, like today we're going to do that. And what we are trying is to bring information, objective data. Then, as you were said, we are trying to skirt the circle, right? Because after that, as you mentioned, in football, then even if you know that with data, maybe you are going to play, okay? But it's a technical decision, at least to have objective data.
If you work for Simeone, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But, and then on the other hand, we're speaking also about business. So sports industry, teams, performance, so athletes are assets. So institutions, competitions should care about those assets. So having data, objectivation, helps the institutions to care more about their assets and obviously to know if their investments are in good hands and are behaving correctly. And if something happens, to know why they happen. And I'm speaking about something that it happened yesterday. So for example, obviously I don't want to be very polemic, but yesterday Messi was injured, right? And then everyone is asking why, and we really don't know why. I'm not meaning that because of my company, the company of Rosa, we are going to know why, but we are going to have more data to at least have some insights why that happens, because obviously it's conditioning, influencing everything. And that's why we try and we add value on that direction.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with Ismail. I think, just to say something, innovation has many, many faces, but all the innovation must be human-centric. And knowing information, objective information about human being is necessary because it helps us to better obtain something which is interesting for the human care. And that's.
Thank you.
Okay, my view here is that, I mean, at the end of the day, if you are in the entertainment industry, and we're talking that sports is in the entertainment industry, you are competing against many competitors that are really powerful. You're competing with YouTube, you're competing with Pokemon, you're competing with Fortnite, you're competing with anything that is addictive to the kids or to any other person that has that way of entertainment themselves. So then if you are in the entertainment industry, I think you have to be data-driven for sure. That's what I mentioned before. And that is a journey. That doesn't happen from one day to the other. That means you have to change a lot of things. You have to transform your company. And then is when then you start learning, and this is trial and error. This is when you have your platform, you have to try things and see what is working and what not, and then change really rapidly. these big guys also make a lot of mistakes. Like when I say this is Amazon, Google, and all these people. But then suddenly, for example, Amazon, this is a case, they tested the checkout, the quick checkout, that button, they did it A/B testing. And increased only by that button, increased their sales so rapidly that day that it's there forever. So this is the kind of thing that I mean. You A/B test, you do test and trial and error, and that will drive your company in a better way to compete in this entertainment industry. That's my philosophy.
Well, this is perfect for the next question. I think, Ramiro, we have to wrap up. Or no? How long do we have? 20 minutes. Okay. So I'll sing a song. No, to your last answer, I think that we asked before, I think that there are two crucial things for startups and relating all adding value and organic innovation. Two questions, 2 points. One is, how do you deal with permanent innovation? Which is, you were just mentioning that, so thank you for the lead. That cue was really useful. One, how you do organic permanent innovation, how you deal with that, because now you're talking about tagging, and then tomorrow you will have under the skin chips that you can, I know that you will go that way, so you can talk to Rosa, so there you have a joint venture. And secondly is scaling, how the survival of scaling your startups. What's the main challenge, or what's your vision on scaling your startup?
Should I start? Okay. Yeah, why not? So,
Ismael.
Jesus, no, Jesus. Whatever. No. So regarding scalability, and it's also a very important in our case. Okay, we are working with a technology called thermography. So basically a camera and hardware. Obviously, we are not industrial engineers, so we are not very familiar with that. But everyone that has some experience has told us the very crucial point is data. So that's why we focus our investments and our efforts in developing data intelligence. So basically, if we listened yesterday to the speech from the president of LaLiga, it's basically to be driven by the thing that, okay, we are surrounded by information, and we should be able to make easy to understand and efficiently the information that we are surrounded, okay? And then, obviously, this information allows us to be scalable. That's why we are working with hardware, but at the end of the day, we are working with software that is easy to use. Nowadays, we need an expensive camera, but in the future, I'm speaking maybe in 2, 3, 4 years, this camera will be in our Samsung or iPhone. And then the hardware will not be a problem anymore. The problem will be to make a correct interpretation of the data. And that's why we focus on what? And that's the second question, investing in research. So how we really think about organic improving, and we both from academic sector. Indeed, I did my PhD on that topic, and I know that we are really in the first stage. Behind of that, we have a lot of different ideas, but we really know that if we stop what we have right now, we have no future. So actually, the applications in the future are based on investing almost everything that we have as a profit to improve in terms of going to data, intelligence, software, and then keep on researching and keep on discovering new applications and improving the way we make the correct interpretation of it. So basically, I think that that's the answer from my perspective. Now, George?
You want the short answer or the long?
Make me yours, darling.
No, look, very simply. I think scalability is about start simple, stay in your lane, stay focused, don't go for too much too soon, but also look at the bigger picture at the end. So when we I was talking earlier about the Internet of Things, it's coming. Everything we're doing is going to be connected. You know, we're driving cars now with a PIN number to start the engine and battery power, etc., etc. Our homes are fully automated. It's coming to our clothing. It's coming to many, many things in our lives. So we're going to all need to go in that direction, and sport is no exception. So by starting simple and just adding a tag, adding value that is digital, we're already starting to lead towards that, and eventually when we get there, we'll be prepared. And that's what Solos is about.
And how do you scale it?
Well, we start in the same way we're doing everything else right now, which is you have a tag or it's already on a garment. Let's add something to it that is new. The tag right now doesn't speak. It's just visual. You see a name. If we start by adding something to that tag that firstly makes it digital, then that tag will start to be embedded in, for example, with one club, and then eventually with an organization that understands the value. And then eventually, as that organization understands the value, it grows into a broader market. And then we can start to think about the things that I would like to see. That is, if it's your ticket and your wallet, then there's less chance of people faking a ticket. You know, it's a very big problem. If we have authentication right now, we hear about things like facial recognition. A lot of people don't like it. It's very invasive. But if it's something you're wearing, you might feel a bit better about it. So that's what we think.
You're like the big brother, my friend. Yeah, you want to control a lot.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Vola, please, your vision.
My answer, I have one answer to both questions.
All right.
And the answer is the process.
Learn. 2 for plus 1.
Yeah, 2 for 1, process. The more, like startups can seem like messy organizations where everything happening at the same time. But actually behind the scenes, what actually is happening is we as a company establish our processes of doing things. And the more established those processes become and the more sophisticated they become, the easier it is to implement them. Therefore, it's easier it is to scale. Scaling from a founder's team of 2 or 3 to a team of 10 may seem a bit more difficult than scaling from a team of 10 to a team of 50, but it's the same process. We're just learning along the way how to establish that process. And same it comes to continuous innovation. Innovation is the process that produces behind the scenes, behind the scenes and very front-running products and services, but it is still a process. It's a continuous learning process, and the more sophisticated the company become, the more sophisticated the innovation process becomes. So I think that when we talk about the digital transformation, the innovation in sports and media entertainment, it all comes down to a very simple questions we are supposed to be asking our partners and clients is, what is your innovation process and what is the goal you're trying to achieve? The goals may change over time. As we go, we achieve them, but the process behind will stay the same.
Great. Jesus and Rosa?
Well, regarding scalability, to be honest, I have no idea. I mean, I think that we as a research center, we are good at doing something, which is research, applied research, ready to use, prepared to be used by industry. But to reach scalability, we look for partners because we are not good at that. And related with innovation and how to keep it ongoing, I think it's in our ADN. I mean, we need to do it every day, because in our mindset, there is not the possibility to stay in one knowledge without improving it, because in that way, we have no business, we have no value to provide to the industry. That's.
Okay, regarding keeping up with innovation, I have like 2 visions. If you're a big company or you're a small company or a startup. I think if you're a startup, you have to live with that. It's part of your DNA, and you have to go to all your industry events and look and read and be ahead and see the trends and all this. The hard thing is being innovative in a big company. So my experience with LaLiga, I think they did something really smart, which is having all the startups in the world competing and providing the best ideas they could, and doing this context, so they gather all this information from all around the world related to what they need, which is entertainment industry, and sharing the ideas with the internal departments. So I think that was really smart. Other companies, let's say big telcos, they have harder ways to innovate, and my feeling is that they have to think like a startup. This is what Google does, for example, or Amazon. They do all this also, startup ways of thinking, of doing things, developers, ecosystem, things like that. Regarding scalability, for a startup means for me being global and having the technological capabilities of doing so first, which is cloud computing and with Microsoft and being able to run in the cloud all your systems worldwide. That will make you be able to scale at the delivery phase, let's say, and also being global from the start. So being able to sell clients worldwide, there's no frontiers anymore, even less if you're a startup.
The beauty of talking with you guys is that, you know, the same with the other 5 is that all the answers are different and they're all interesting. So this is where we learn. So thank you guys. So just as in a nutshell, I would really have to get your main takeaway, not the process or what you've been through in this past experience through this process with LaLiga and José, but what is your main takeaway of this competition?
Well, I can take that one since I have the mic all the time. So
feel free.
My main takeaway is that I felt that these 3 companies, LaLiga, José, and Microsoft, took it for real. This is really seriously, and they're going to. I have in our sales team, we have what we call the quick wins, which is basically do something and do it fast. Because if you take too long to decide, it will be too late, and the world is running too fast. So I think they're doing it seriously, and they're going to do a lot of things with the startups in the ecosystem, and that's what I take away. Other than it was a great experience being with them there, and we learned a lot.
Should I carry on? Yes,
Yes, of course.
my main conclusion or take-home message is something that is maybe not that related with technology innovation, but the fact that this competition is not a competition itself, at least in the last stage. So for me, it was very enriching and very interesting to share during some days different approaches from different sectors, because sometimes I think that we do the mistake of focusing too much in, okay, injury prevention, performance, injury prevention, and it's not everything about that. And then you know Vola with its activity, and George, and the different approaches, different technologies that maybe in the first speech you think, okay, so anti-privacy, well, so photos, but at the end you understand the whole thing, because sometimes we are too focused in our thing or topic or sector, and then having the opportunity of being some days and deep in on different approaches, different technologies, makes you understand better the global picture. And then, okay, you are part of that, more or less important, but then you have to understand why everything is driving so, and that everything, the direction, so the global.
So it's a real inspiration center, right?
Really, so it's like, okay.
And global, like José.
Yes, everything. Yeah. So thank you. That's my message.
Rosa or Vola?
I think my main takeaway is that through this like a week of immersion week, we went through a process of turning a kind of a global vision or let's do open innovation and it's going to be cool to a very specific to-do list of tasks that what have to be done on either side of the fence, and that is just great. That's our takeaway. That very fast, cutting all the corners, we got straight into the meat of the problem, and we just ready to
the focus is really important here, and the practicity. Everything is really practical. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Rosa? I know you. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say. I think my main takeaway is network. I think it's just that. Yeah.
Okay. And Han Solo?
The main takeaway for me was that, and everybody sort of mentioned it a little bit, the pilot was so inclusive. And I think that's really important. The success of a pilot, we're only as good as the information that we share. And that's what I appreciated the most. The fact that, as we said here, we were able to sit down with each and every division that was relative to us within the business, talk about our issues, their issues, listen to the story of what is the technological plan for LaLiga in the future, etc. all very, very valuable, because these pilots ultimately should lead to an outcome. And we believe that's how we all felt, you know, speaking for myself, but probably for others, that's how we all felt in this process, that we were here to be included from the beginning. And I think from my experience in other pilots, it's generally, you know, let's see who we can get in, let's see what happens. We touch one facet of the business, and then maybe that's not enough to go to the next level. So,
Great.
So we appreciate that, and thank you.
Great. So again, we have a surprise for you, but I need to thank again José and LaLiga for having me and these amazing people here, and thank you for the team. Because again, it's not Iris and Minerva, there is a lot of people who work really hard. So thank you again. And let's see who sent us a video.
Hola, soy Esteban Granero, jugador del Real Club Deportivo Español en la Liga y fundador y CEO de Holocip, empresa pionera en aplicación de sistemas de inteligencia artificial en fútbol y otros deportes. Fundé Holocip en 2015 después de analizar tres aspectos fundamentales. El primero es la necesidad que tiene la industria del fútbol de superar ciertos problemas, principalmente el de reducir la incertidumbre en la toma de decisiones. El segundo es la capacidad que tiene el fútbol, como otros deportes, de generar información susceptible de ser modelada por algoritmos de inteligencia artificial. Y el tercero es el valor de la capacidad que tienen esos algoritmos de generar un tipo de análisis que lleva al fútbol a otra dimensión. La categoría predictiva y la categoría prescriptiva supondrán una gran revolución en el mundo del fútbol. Estamos sintiendo el reconocimiento de la comunidad científica y sus actores, como el CSIC, que nos ha premiado recientemente. Además, creo que estamos diferenciándonos de la competencia, posicionándonos en un nivel superior de análisis. Hay muchas empresas que se dedican a las estadísticas y al análisis descriptivo de las mismas, y nosotros vamos a través de la inteligencia artificial al nivel predictivo y prescriptivo. Y por otro lado, lo que más satisfacción nos genera es ver cómo científicos de máximo prestigio europeo, como los que forman parte de Holocip, pues han apostado por el deporte, por el fútbol y por nuestra empresa en particular. Solo la inteligencia artificial puede llevar el análisis de datos a un nivel superior. Gracias a ella, en Holocip podemos analizar esos datos de manera que no solo nos digan qué es lo que ha sucedido, sino también nos pueden decir qué va a suceder y qué debemos hacer nosotros para que suceda lo que queremos que suceda. Solo la inteligencia artificial es capaz de reducir la incertidumbre para tomar mejores decisiones tanto en la política de fichajes, como en la estrategia, como en la prevención de lesiones. Igual que la medicina o la industria 4.0 conviven con modelos de inteligencia artificial, el deporte está en este sentido a las puertas de una gran revolución. En Holocip trabajamos no solamente con fútbol, sino también con baloncesto, LaLiga, tenis o cricket. En la industria del deporte, quien no quiera quedarse rezagado ante sus competidores deberá apostar por la inteligencia artificial. La exigencia de los equipos, de cualquier miembro de la industria del deporte, conforme a la tecnología, es cada vez mayor, y nosotros apostamos por la mejor de las tecnologías para estar siempre a la vanguardia.
Okay, thank you, Siri. Okay, guys, big round of applause for these finalists that have been amazing. I'm honored. Thank you again, and let's be in touch.